sorry I'm late. Right. Originally, I wasn't going to talk about this because I didn't really care all too much. Then I realized I kind of cared, and I kind of did have something to say. Right. And the truth is no one really cares. This is going to be just like the removal of the dislike situation, almost exactly like the removal of the dislike situation, right? Already, people don't care. Already, people have forgotten about it. It's been about 2 weeks now. Nobody's talking about it. No one really gives a shit, to be honest. And a lot of people are just going to ignore this video, ignore all of this shit that I'm going to say, because, oh, that's old news, right? When it happened literally like 2 weeks ago, which really, it truly shows how little people actually care, because people don't care. It doesn't fucking matter. It's actually going to be not that big of a deal. Mark my words. It's going to be just like the dislike situation, right? The dislike situation, YouTube's like, oh, we're going to remove dislikes, right? We're going to remove dislikes because blah, 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 whatever bullshit reason that we can come up with, right? It makes people feel bad or something like that, right? So they go in, or did they even come up with a reason? I don't know. I don't remember. They go in and they start they go in and they announce they're going to remove dislikes. Everybody's pissed. Everybody's outraged. Everybody's losing their minds. They're removing dislikes. People are mad for about a week or two. They forget about it. Nobody talks about the situation whatsoever until they enact it, right? They go in and then this becomes a across the board policy change. Now there is no more, you can no longer see the dislikes. Everybody's mad for a week or two. How could YouTube do this? They removed the dislikes. And then nobody cares after that. And everyone moves on with their lives and nothing changes whatsoever in the slightest, right? And everybody pretends that it does when it really doesn't, right? Here's the thing, and why I have no sympathy for you if you're going to sit here and whine and bitch and complain. There's no reason to complain about the removal of dislikes. The reason why is because there's a browser extension that everyone should probably know about at this point, right? That exists. It's super easy to get. It takes like 1 minute to put on your browser, right? Literally, it's just I think it's literally just called Bring Back YouTube Dislikes. That's fucking it. That's it, or Show YouTube Dislikes, something like that. You put it on, you click it on, you turn it on your thing, you add it to your extensions, you turn it on, and then boom. Just plug and play. Every time you go to YouTube, the dislikes show up there like they were never gone. They were never gone in the first place, right? Everyone knows this. Everyone should know this by now. But the thing is nobody brings this up because it hurts their point and it hurts their argument, right? Because the truth is anyone who actually cares that YouTube has removed dislikes will get this browser extension. It's not inconvenient in the slightest. It's not like you have to copy the URL and then paste it in a third-party website or anything. No. It's a very convenient browser extension, and everybody should know about this goddamn browser extension by now. And if you don't have it already, then you just don't care. And if you don't care, don't fucking complain about the goddamn issue. I have the browser extension. Pretty much every YouTuber has the browser extension, right? Anyone involved in the internet has the goddamn browser extension. It's not inconvenient in the slightest, right? And the main video I want to talk about here is Optimus's video, right? I watched Optimus's video, and for the most part, I agree with everything he says. I agree with everything he says. I'll leave a link down there. I would just say the same things over again to some degree, right? I do have a couple other things, because here's the thing with that video. While I do think it's a good video, while I think he does bring up a lot of good points, I think he's missing the main big reason that YouTube would add this into the that YouTube would do this, right? And he's pointing in all kinds of different directions and saying it's this, that, and this, and this, and that, but he never really comes up with a full conclusion on why they would do this, and a lot of his stuff is just kind of faulty. And I think the big issue is he's looking at this through the lens as, I'm a big creator. He's got about 1 million subscribers. The people who he talks to and he surrounds himself with are big creators as well, right? Assumingly have around 1 million subscribers or a couple 100,000, right? So, of course, he's going to think in the lens of he is a big creator, right? And he's going to think of this as, how does this affect me? And he points in all kinds of directions, and I think it just really doesn't go anywhere. And while I agree with everything he says, I don't think that's the main issue. And I think there's two main issues on why this would exist. That he did not bring up, that I think need to be addressed, and one of them I think is pretty big. Now, am I saying that, of course, that YouTube's fine hiding the view count, YouTube is fine hiding dislikes? No, of course not. And especially me, when it comes to things like this and transparency with videos and analytics and whatnot, I think I'm a radical when it comes to this kind of shit. And I think these videos should be 100% fully transparent. I think that YouTube should show both the likes and the dislikes, the comments, the everything. And I think that, in fact, when you're a YouTube creator, you get to see a lot more about the video than the public eye gets to see. You get to look into your analytics and whatnot. You get to see things like watch duration, how much people watched, how many people click through your video, like just pass by your video and whatnot, and you get to see a lot more in detail than what the average person sees just with your videos. And I think those analytics are very important, and I think the public should gain access to this. I think anyone should be able to go in, scroll down, and click on, like in the description or something, there should be an option for view analytics. Click on analytics and be able to see these things for yourself. I don't think these should be hidden, and people should gain as much access to the information as the content creators, and the content creators should also get as much access to the information as YouTube does itself. Because YouTube has more important stuff and has a lot more shit tracking these things than the content creators themselves do, and especially the viewers, right? You know for a fact, YouTube knows where you skip to, how much of the video you've watched, and what parts of the video you watched too. And I personally think that you should be able to see how much of the video people have watched as well, right? And I think it should be up to, this is the thing with YouTube, is I think YouTube has forgotten that it is YouTube. It is about you, right? And not just YouTube has forgotten this, but the content creators have forgotten this as well. It is about you at the end of the day. And I believe you should be able to customize your experience and your platform. And I think every single channel should have its own personality. And if they wish to, they should be able to choose a UI. They should be able to change the platform and choose which videos they want to show and not want to show. And choose if they want to, do you want to see the likes? Do you want to see the dislikes? Do you want to see the comments? Do you want to see the description? Do you want to see this, that, and this? And be able to add and remove as many features as you can possibly grant them. I believe that you should have so much stuff. I believe that it should be about customizing experience for you and your viewers, as well as the viewers should be able to create their own experience. This is the internet. There does not need to be one standard, right? If I want circular edges, I should be able to turn on circular edges. If I want rough square edges, I should be able to turn on rough square edges. If I want the font for all of the titles and whatnot to be in Comic Sans or Impact font or fucking hieroglyphics, I should be able to turn that shit on, right? I should be able to have full customization over my experience, as well as the YouTuber should be able to have full customization of their channel as well. And I think there should be a lot more emphasis on you, right? But YouTube seems to take decisions into their own hands and be like, no. This is how the UI is going to work. This is how it's going to function. This is how everything's going to work. And I don't like that. I really don't like that. And things like, especially on like the TV app, like on the Roku and whatnot, right? YouTube fucking sucks dick, right? They used to have smaller icons so you'd be able to see like 10 or so videos at a time and be able to scroll through them. But then they changed the UI to make it where it's like a whole video takes up the whole fucking screen. And it's like, why would you do this? Overall, I should be able to customize my experience, and that's what this platform should be built upon. If it was really you too, if it was really about you, and I know they have the ability to do it, right? However, this does bring up an issue, right? Turning off comments, we already have this to some degree by being able to turn on and off comments, right? And turning off comments means you're a bitch, right? Having comments turned off is a clear sign that something's off and you're a little bitch. So doing the same thing by removing dislikes, removing views, removing comments, you're going to look like a bitch and people aren't going to like you, right? Because this says that you have something to some degree to hide. And I can understand that and I can agree with that. And I can see why YouTube removes dislikes for everyone and doesn't give the option. Because if you remove dislikes, then automatically you're a little bitch. And you have something to hide and there's a reason you're hiding it. But if nobody has the option, everybody has dislikes, you don't know who's hiding something or who's not, right? Same thing with the comments. But comments for now are optional. However, I think there is a good way to solve this and a very easy fix, and I think is what YouTube should employ, is you should have to watch a certain amount of videos or a certain amount of the video to see the analytics. Because this is definitely one thing that I don't fucking like, is people won't watch the video, they don't care to watch the video, and they should at least have to watch 80 to 90% of the video before they go down and be able to comment something, in my opinion, right? You could make an argument, there are some couple arguments, I'm not going to get into it right now, on why you shouldn't be able to do this, but the thing is it's just, there's so many times that people don't give a shit, don't watch the video, don't care, comment something fucking stupid without even acknowledging anything, and this goes for literally anything, just not even paying attention or anything, don't care, right? Watch 2 minutes of a 40-minute video, and then fucking whine and complain, and it's just like, you're a fucking idiot, and you clearly didn't watch the video, and I don't think you should be able to comment, I don't think you should be able to do anything like that, until you have watched the full video, right? Or at least 80 to 90% is what I'm saying. So, like I said, I'm a bit of a radical when it comes to those things, and I think hide the analytics, hide the dislike, hide the like bar, hide all of that shit until people watch the majority of the video, because you should have to hear somebody out before you make your decision. And this brings kind of a hive mentality when it's just like you're not even going to hear them out, right? This brings a kind of hive mentality with this shit, and I don't like this idea of YouTube treating us like children, right? We should have to come up with our own decisions and our own views, and have to come up with our own thoughts and beliefs in the first place, right? And we shouldn't have to look for the comments or like to dislike ratio to give us that validation. If we like the video, we like the video, and if we don't like the video, then we can dislike the video. And afterwards, maybe we see the like to dislike ratio and see, okay, maybe something's off about it, right? So if it's something that it's like, okay, this is just unfactual bullshit, right? And this is like some weird conspiracy theory that obviously has no basis in reality and no reasonable person should agree with it, then maybe it's like, okay, fine, leave the dislike. But if it's something that's completely opinion-based and you agree with that opinion, and then you watch the full video and you're like, okay, that actually kind of makes sense. I'm talking about Overwatch community, right? But then, and it's like, okay, that makes sense, I'll leave a like. But then, in the flip side, the same person might go in another universe, watch the video, see the thing, see it as a shit ton of dislikes, see something that they don't necessarily agree with or whatnot, don't watch the full video, don't really care to, leave the dislike, get the fuck off the video, they don't give a shit, right? And this happens all the time. It's happened forever. And like I said, I think there is some middle ground you can employ here. But the main reason I think it is not to make people feel better, because the truth is YouTube doesn't truly give a shit about the mental health and well-being of their content creators. Like I said, if they did want to hide it, like I said, because you can still see your views, you can still see your likes to dislikes. You should be able to hide that personally if you want to. If those things really do affect you that much, the like to dislike ratio as well as the view count, right? If those things really are affecting you that much, then sure, fine. Be able to turn that off and be able to do that in your creator tab, right? Your YouTube studio is what it's called. But you can't do that. That's not an option, right? If they really did care and it was about that kind of mental health of the creator, which it's not because they don't give a shit, right? Then that would be the option, but it isn't. And here's the main reason I believe that this is being enforced at Optimus and really nobody is bringing up, is it is to help small creators. Because the reason is, and this is something that I've seen, my videos, I'm not the biggest fucking creator. You can tell I'm not the biggest creator, right? My videos get a monochrome of views in the first couple days, right? But one thing I do notice is the moment they hit 1K views, they blow up and they skyrocket, right? In the first couple days, that all I need to reach is that hump of getting 1,000 views. That's it. Because here's the thing. If you're not going to, look. Me personally, I don't give a shit what the video is. I really don't. I really don't, and I don't look at the views or think that much of the views that often, right? As long as it has a K views, as long as it has that K in the view counter, I'm good to go. I don't care if it has 1K views, 100K views, or whatever, right? I'm good to go. I'll watch the video. As long as it seems interesting, as long as it looks good, I'll watch it. But on the flip side, if it has less than that, if it doesn't even have that K next to it, if it's like 200 views, that seems kind of sketchy to me. I probably wouldn't click on something like that, right? I probably wouldn't even click on my own videos, even if I fully agreed with it, right? So I'm just going to avoid that whole topic, you know what I mean? And I've noticed this myself is, like I said, that's the main struggle as a small creator, is reaching that hump of getting a K views, right? I don't think people care about views as much as Optimus makes it seem, right? I don't think people give a shit that much about views. The viewers, right? Of course, the content creator cares about views because that views equals money, right? But the viewers don't care that much about views. But when it looks sketchy and has less than 1,000 views, that's when it cares, right? I don't think that many people are too split. Maybe there are. There certainly probably are some elitist people who won't watch a video that has less than 100K views. But for the most part, I don't think people think about it that much. But when it has less than 1,000 views, the video looks fucking sketchy, right? So it's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing. And I think that's the purpose of this. This is to help small creators. This is to help out small creators get over that first 1K hump and make it where it's not about, make it where if my title in my thumbnail is just as good as a Kurzgesagt video, or however the fuck you pronounce it, or a Mr. Beast video or something like that, and it seems just as interesting, and you watch the video and it's just as interesting as a Kurzgesagt video or a Mr. Beast video or something like that, if it is able to hit that level of attention, then you will give it the same amount of attention, right? And not discredit it just because of the views. And I think this is overall a more positive thing and a better thing. Like I said, do I think they should be removing transparency? Fuck no. I'm a radical when it comes to things like that. But in a way, this kind of does help at least me out a little bit. And I've seen this before, right? But to a big creator that like Optimus, who is probably going to get over 1,000 views in less than an hour, right? This isn't a factor. They don't think about getting over this hump of 1K views, right? Because either my video goes up and does really well and gets over 1,000 views, or it just fucking dies and dwindles out and never reaches that height, right? And that's kind of the sad truth behind it. So I think that's the main reason. Is this is supposed to be kind of a handy to small creators. Now, Optimus says that this will bring on a lot of clickbait, will make clickbait more prevalent. And while, yeah, maybe that's true to some degree, dude, clickbait's already so prevalent. Who fucking cares? Everyone, like, YouTube has been so morally bankrupt and has lost its identity so much. Like, it's just, I can't give a shit at this point if, oh no, some people are scamming you out of 2 seconds of your fucking life, man. It's just like, right, here's the thing. And the thing is the view count doesn't really matter. It's about the watch duration, right? That's what actually matters at the end of the day and what's more important for the algorithm, right? What is going to feed through the algorithm is a bunch of people watching the entire video and watching more of the video than a shit ton of views. If you get an hour-long video and people are only watching 3 minutes of the video and then fucking booting off, trust me, I know, because I like to make these videos unnecessarily long with very minimal editing, right? then guess what? It's not going to move through the algorithm. But if people are going to watch the entire video, if it is interesting and encapsulates the audience, then this will move through the algorithm. And having a video that is not just clickbait, having a video that feeds to the algorithm is incentivized, and that is a good thing, right? I don't think this is going to change the amount of clickbait that is offered. I don't think this is going to switch anything up, right? The final thing that I have to mention, and this is where I have to put my tinfoil hat on, and this is kind of conspiracy theory-ish. That's I think they're removing views. I think YouTube is removing views. Like, I'm not saying you can see views. I think they are taking views from the channel. Like, you know how people say, oh, YouTube removes subscribers sometimes? This is like a common thing. Everybody talks about this. YouTube removes subscribers. I think YouTube is removing views. Like how they remove subscribers. Like, they unsubscribe you from channels. I think they're doing the same thing with views. I have no real evidence or proof of this. It's like, you kind of have to take my word for it. I'm, like I said, kind of a conspiracy theory. However, I experienced this firsthand. And this is the reason I made this video, is because this kind of pissed me off. Right? I released this video called What is Good and Bad Character Design. And in the video, I do curse a little bit. I don't really watch my profanity, as they say. And also, the thumbnail is a bit on the etchier side. It has a girthy giant dildo, right? That was the original thumbnail, is I put a girthy giant dildo on the thumbnail. Just because I didn't know what to put in SpongeBob's hands. And this was the thumbnail I went with. This was the thumbnail design I had. And I didn't want to keep the hammer in his hands, right? So I've switched it to a game controller. However, I noticed something weird, because usually my videos have been breaking about 1,000 views per video. And the girthy dildo video, the video on good and bad design was one of my most edited videos, as well as not just did I think it was the highest quality video I had produced, and one of the best videos I had produced, right, with a lot more editing and whatnot. It also showed that the video had a longer watch duration and was much higher received, and almost got 100% like. I think it does actually have a 100% like to dislike ratio, and was a highly well received video. Yet, for whatever reason, even though it has all the components of being a good video and moving well through the algorithm, for about the first week, it had about less than 100 views. I didn't know how this happened. And then eventually it broke 200 views, right? And I noticed it was kind of being weird, because in the first day or two, it was at 32 views in about 2 days, and then it dropped back down to 16. And I thought that was kind of weird, but I thought it was tripping balls. And I was just seeing things that I just don't, like, I was misremembering something or something, right? And I just didn't think anything of it. And then, like, about a week in, I noticed that it broke 200 views, and I'm like, oh, cool, right? And I changed the thumbnail up too, because I thought, it's not moving. About 3 days in, I noticed that the video wasn't circulating as well as the other videos, because usually my videos would get a couple hundred views, and it only had roughly about 60 views within 3 days. And within 3 days, usually I'm getting about 300-400 views on the video, right? Averaging about that. So I thought, okay, maybe it's shadow banned, right? This happens, maybe it's shadow banned. And I did also try to be unnecessarily mean and call out certain people in the video that was not necessary for the video. So maybe the algorithm caught on to that, maybe it caught on to my cursing, and maybe it was the girthy dildo, right? So I changed the thumbnail, and still it started to sit at about 60 views, right? About a couple days later, wait the full duration of about a week, and the video gets to 200 views. I'm like, oh, sweet, awesome, it's at 200 views, right? But it's like, it's been a week, usually by a week, I'm sitting at around 1,000 views for these videos. And I then go back to it, and the thing is I was going around and linking this video because it was important for the other video topics I was talking about, which was good and bad character design. And I started linking it to all the other videos. I linked to all the other videos, telling people to check the description, to watch that video video is important, blah, 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 blah. I go back to the video after about a week or two, and it's at 160 views. It dropped about 40, 50 views. What the fuck? And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm not tripping balls anymore. This isn't me fucking with my head anymore. My video is losing views. This isn't normal. This is not normal. And I tried to search it up, and I did search it up on Google. And the result I found was, apparently you will lose views. Apparently you can lose views by YouTube removing bots. This means that your videos are being botted, and YouTube is finding bots and removing them. The suspicious thing is, and that's what I thought, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, that if they remove bots, and they remove all the data from the bots and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, that makes sense that YouTube's removing the bots. Okay, and then it removes all the data. But the suspicious thing is I never noticed it with any of my other videos. None of my other videos had this issue. None of my other videos had the issue of removing the views, right? None of my other videos had these problems. And I was just like, I was so dumbfounded on why, right? And on top of that, if I'm getting bots, why would I be getting bots? I don't understand that. So there are some theories in these threads that it's like, okay, bots watch random videos too to make them seem more like real people. But wouldn't they leave comments? Isn't that what bots do? Don't they leave comments? And none of the comments I get seem to be look like bot comments, right? Usually bot comments are kind of obvious. They're just oftentimes very generic, or literally just posting links to like CP websites and weird shit, right? That's like, okay, that's not cool. I've never had an issue with bot comments either, right? And so I'm kind of curious, why are all these bots gravitating to just this one video and not leaving any comments either, right? What the fuck is going on? Because it seems like half of the viewers watching this one video, this one specific video, are bots, and none of the other ones are. So I'm like, okay, this is really fucking sketchy. This is really suspicious. I think YouTube might be fucking with my video, so I re-uploaded it. And if you look on my channel, there's one that's good and bad character. What is good and bad character design? Original, and one that's the normal one. And the only difference between the two is I started pointing out and pointing fingers and talking shit about specific people and specific players that I didn't like, that I think are detrimental in a lot of ways, right, to communities and whatnot. And I replaced that version with Sekiro gameplay. I replaced that whole thing with Sekiro gameplay just flat out, and I was like, okay, no issues here. Right? I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm not messing with anyone. This isn't cyberbullying, because that might be their argument, that the AI or whatever, the algorithm detected some levels of cyberbullying or harassment. So this is just Sekiro gameplay in the background. Ignore it, right? And the new version has done a little bit better. I think it's sitting at 700 views, and I haven't noticed anything weird happening with it. I haven't noticed views disappearing, and I've been keeping track of it, and I've been watching it closely. No views have disappeared. It's just been going up. It hasn't been going up as much as the other ones. It hasn't been going up as much as my other videos, but at the end of the day, I am satisfied with it, and it hasn't been being sketchy. It was just that one video kept losing views for some reason. But all the information, all the analytics tell me that this should be my most viewed video. This should be my most watched video. This is my best video that I have made, yet for whatever reason, the results aren't showing that, and the results are changing, and what is being told to me is changing as well. And that's what I think it's going to. I think what is happening here is they're removing view counts of videos that might be controversial, that might have problems with them, that might be considered cyberbullying or harassment, because they don't want edgier content. They don't want this kind of content on the platform, and that's what they're trying to suppress. This is why they have things like shadow banning, and the thing is like I said, removing subscribers. They've already had a track record of doing stuff like this in the past by removing subscribers and whatnot, right? Which is something that's unequivocally sketchy. And their argument or excuse or whatever is, oh, sometimes we remove data and things get moved around, but it seems to only happen, and if you watch a lot of these people, it seems to only happen to content creators that are controversial. It only happens to content creators that often get demonetized a lot of times, but the thing is I'm not big enough to be monetized. They cannot use the threat of a yellow $sign over me. This is not a factor for me, and this is something that will not dissuade me. They can't stop me from saying whatever the fuck I want to say. So their only method of doing this is by censoring me, by trying to shadow ban me. However, because I was going around and linking this specific video to other videos and making sure other people try to watch it and making sure you need to watch this video before you watch the other videos. This video is important, right? Because I was going around and I was doing that, this shows that I am trying to get around their shadow banning process. This shows that I am trying to get around their punishment, and the only way they can decentivize me from making controversial content, right, is by slamming me with this label. This is their only way to stop me from putting dildos on the thumbnail. However, because I'm linking this video, this means that anybody who's watching these videos might go to this video, and it's still going to get traction. It's still going to be seen. It's still going to move around. So the only way to stop it is make it where you can nip it in the bud, where this video physically cannot grow. This video cannot get nutrients no matter how much you link it, no matter how much you try, no matter what you do with the video. This video cannot grow, and this video will fail, no matter what. No matter if the entire world wants to see it. And that's the thing that kind of scares me about this, is that's what I think happened to this video. Is this video got picked up as cyberbullying, got picked up as harassment, also had a girthy-ass dildo in the thumbnail, and of course got nipped in the bud and suppressed. And the only way they could do this was by removing the views that I was getting on it. This was the only punishment that they could reasonably give me to stop this video from growing, right? And that's what I think that they are doing. They are removing view counts. And I don't know, nobody else is talking about this. Nobody else is discussing this. I don't know how many people are noticing this, because bigger YouTubers are probably not staring at their thumbnails or probably not staring at their views all the time. They aren't looking at their views. They aren't seeing their views. They aren't paying well enough attention to their views. But I think there is some sketchy shit going on. And this, like I said, this is kind of a conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat ass shit. But that's really what's happening. That's what I think is what's happening, and I think this might be why they're removing views, is so anybody they don't like, instead of just demonetizing them, because now a lot of people are getting around demonetization, yellow $signs, by having Patreons. Patreons are the way of the future, and if you are being censored, if you're being hurt, right, you can put up a Patreon. You can put up a Patreon and people can still support you, and you can still move around the algorithm fairly decently, and people will still get traction. But if your video never has views, if they keep taking away views from the video, they cannot make excuses anymore. And this is kind of where where I think this is going. And I think testing this kind of shit on smaller creators by removing views, people who have no credibility, such as myself, is sort of plan A, right? And then they also have plan B, which is we're going to remove the view count. And I think this is kind of what the new CEO wants, right? This new scary YouTube CEO, his goals seem to be aligned with help smaller creators, as well as stop a lot of the edgier content, to say the least, right? Stop a lot of this kind of negative content, you could say, right? And I think that's what this angle is. And if this is the plan, then removing the views, being able to see views in the first place, this is a 2-for-1 deal. This is like I said, this is a 2-for-1 deal. This is a perfect move to do this, because this helps small creators such as myself, but also hurts edgier creators that might be controversial, such as myself, who I like to point fingers at people because it's fun, and I don't like certain people. So that's kind of the issue with this whole situation. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say, and that's really what I think this is leaning towards, right? Like I said, the second thing might be a bit of a conspiracy theory. Call me a conspiracy theorist, I don't care. But I think the first thing is undoubtedly the reason they're putting this is to help small creators, to make it where as long as my thumbnail's quality, as long as my title's quality, then my video should get as much traction as someone else who has a title and a thumbnail that is quality. And I'm for that. But suppressing speech, suppressing opinions you don't like, suppressing things that you don't like, I'm not for that. That's not okay. And I think this is a perfect move to do this. And the fact is I don't trust YouTube because they've done shit like this in the past. And they deny it, but they continue to do it. So that's about it. Peace.